Hey guys, and welcome back to Boredom. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day and that I can maybe bring that day to be a little happier, or funny at least. And I'm gonna do that with this. Yeah, it's a car horn with a button and some batteries. It's loud. So you might be asking yourself, why did I make this? The answer is no reason. That's it. I mean, I could answer and say, well, it's to maybe help me be heard by cars and not get hit. And that's kind of true, but it was more so because I was bored, and that's why this channel is named Boredom after all, because I like skateboarding, and I get bored sometimes, so I like to just make stuff. And that's primarily what I'm going to be doing with this channel, is building stuff, doing e-skate reviews, e-skate related content, and I might just throw some other stuff in there, like if I find something cool. But besides that, I made a car horn with some batteries and a button. Let's see how I did that. I ended up starting with a CAD design model that was mostly just for the 3D printed housing that I used. In this case, I used orange to basically make it look a little less threatening, because it does have some features that would resemble things that YouTube would not approve. But this is a button guard. Nothing else. Could not resemble anything similar to what you might be thinking of it as. It's definitely not a guard. It's a button guard. Button, no button. It's a blaster, and it's pretty funny to see people's reactions with it, because it genuinely sounds like there's a car honking at you, and there's no reason to think that it's not, because it is. But yeah, I did that. So some of the bullshit uses that you can use for this would be honking to wake yourself up if you wired this to an alarm clock. I don't see why you would do that. I'm probably going to end up doing that now that I mention it. You could probably just honk it at some coyotes or other wild animals, and they'd get scared because of the loud noise it makes. You could go deaf if you just hold it next to your ear. The construction of it's fairly simple. It's just 3 cells with a button and a horn, and they're all wired in series, so there's nothing really fancy about it. These cells should get up to about 12.6 volts, and they should be able to run down to 9.6. I haven't really tested that because right now it's at like 11.5 since I've never charged it. So I'm curious how long the horn will actually still function at a usable volume. Currently, I did not add any BMS or any charging mechanism, so the only way I can charge this is with an RC car charger, which is just a hobby grade charger for lithium cells. And soldering to the top of these is kind of a no-no. However, I did it because it was safer than just holding the wires there for carrying the current that this horn might need. It should take about 2 to 5 amps at about 12 volts, which works its way to about 24 watts minimum. And the switch isn't really rated for that. It's rated for 36 volts at 2 amps, so it kind of maybe can carry the amps, but I've had some issues where, like, if you hold it halfway down, there's an arc that will happen inside the switch, and that will end up causing a failure, and the horn will just sound really sad and wimpy if you do that, if you get it just right. So if I end up making another one, some of the things that I would change would be adding a BMS for this 3S system. I would probably add a micro USB or USB Type-C charger, so you can basically plug it in with anything that you have. And I'd probably go to a snap action switch where you can't actually press the button halfway for it to activate. It's basically like a true on-off. And granted, this is an on-off, it's just with a snap action, it basically just snaps the switch closed and then releases it when you release it. There's no like half pressing it where an arc could possibly form. And with that, it should be significantly safer, right? And I use these old cells that I scavenged from some camera battery equipment, and they've seemed to be holding up just fine for at least this use case because it's pretty low power, even though that these cells are already completely destroyed because they were stored at 0 volts. Some of the faults in the design I would have to say would be this cover right now is the fact that you have to basically just like kind of squeeze it together. It's kind of hokey. I intended it to be more of a snap-on rather than a like press and hope that it stays on, but I kind of rushed it a little bit to get this video done, and I'm still happy with how it turned out. And you can imagine with how loud this is, it does actually shake. So when you basically are holding this button, the entire thing is shaking slightly. And I could probably fix that with some dampening or some foam, but I don't know if it's necessary. And I would definitely work on making the handle a little more comfortable, because right now it's quite literally just a box profile and then one side has a curve. And the only reason that curve is actually there is to account for the fact that there's this 18650 that's sticking up past where it actually could lay flat. And the only reason that there's 3 cells in here is to get to the working voltage of a car, which is about 12 volts. They go up to about 14 when the alternator is on. However, I decided just to go with 12.6 because your horn should work at 12 volts.
We're like the train, right? We have to honk before we go over, like... That was on accident. Oh, my finger's stuck in the button guard. The button guard, not a...
Anyways, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I hope you guys did end up enjoying it. If you do want to see more content like this in the future where I build random stuff, be sure to get subscribed. I'll be making more stuff like this in the future, along with some reviews. If you guys did enjoy today's video, be sure to drop a like. And if you guys didn't, please drop a dislike. And if you guys have any comments or suggestions for what I should build or what would you like me to review, please leave a comment down below. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up. Hope you guys have a good day. Bye.